a brand new fantasy hockey segment, Listener League News, and he's back. Let's get this paper on the latest edition of the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast.
You're Locked On Fantasy Hockey, your daily podcast on fantasy hockey.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Can you feel it, my fantasy fanatics? The hockey season is upon us, and NHL frenzy is about to get very real. On your daily 30-minute source for fantasy hockey, it's the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast. Shout out to the everydayers holding us down, continuing to make us your first listen every single day. It is almost September, my friends, and we will have NHL hockey back before you know it. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Your eyes don't deceive you, my YouTube friends. Mr. Roden is back in the booth. Your kid's still recovering, but he's back to provide your boy a little support and to also make sure you guys are supported for the upcoming fantasy campaign. I kid you not, this is one of the best in the business, and he continues to teach me a thing or two. Steele, before we get to today's episode, which does include a whole bunch of details on our listener league, our third year of our listener leagues, and a brand new segment where you and I are going to build a fantasy team with a whole bunch of different players with a $20 budget. We got a new graphic coming up. Welcome back, brother. Sincerely, I couldn't do the show without you. Going solo was rugged, but having you back in the booth means the world, and I hope you're feeling better.
Well, thank you so much for those kind words. I appreciate you, Flip, so much for holding the fort down while I was recovering. And to all of our listeners out there, again, thank you so much to everyone who left some comments on our YouTube channel or just send some messages through the DMs on Instagram or Twitter. I appreciate it. Like Flip said, just taking it one day at a time right now. But felt good enough today to hop back on. I miss talking hockey, fantasy hockey, getting those bets going as well. So glad I could get back on today. And again, once to you, Flip, appreciate you so much for holding us down while I was kind of recovering there a little bit.
Happy to do it, pal. And you know what? You've also led the charge on our listener leagues, and we're excited to talk about it on today's show. This is the third iteration of the leagues. We have a competitive, we have a casual. I'll turn it over to you in a second for those details. We do have the new segment as well coming up after the break that I'm excited to do. Excuse me. You see all of these segments and things on social media, Steele. You got a budget. We're going to have a bunch of different tiered players, $5 down through one, and we're going to build ourselves a fantasy squad and see who has the better one. We'll also be here for a Saturday special. But, Steele, that's exactly what it looks like right there if you're seeing the graphic. If you are on YouTube, you know what it is. Smash that follow button, hit the subscribe. But over to you, Steele, because the listener leagues are a real fun thing that we like to do. We're going to get the details out to you short and sweet here because we've already had a ton of interest. Over to you, my friends. What are we cooking up for Locked On Fantasy Hockey Listener Leagues 3.0?
Yeah, we thought we'd, start this Thursday morning with some fun. Like we always have fun here on the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast, but this is a first for us, doing something that we've seen all across social media, a build your own fantasy hockey team. Like Flip said, you got a $20 budget. If you're watching on YouTube, you can obviously see on your screen who we're going to be talking about. If you're on your favorite podcast platform listening to the audio file of this episode, we'll let you know each player in each tier and category as we break it down. But Flip, I'll throw it over to you. I'll let you start wherever you want: center, left wing, right wing, goaltenders, if you want to, just completely scratch the 0G strategy, even though this is a little bit different. But who do you want to take first? Are you going center, left wing, right wing? Tell me the position, and then we'll kind of break down the players right there.
Oh, that's my bad. I thought we were going to start with the listener league detail tease, but I like that we're getting right into this because honestly, Steele, when it comes down to these kinds of building of your fantasy rosters, everybody loves to do these. You've seen them all over socials. You've actually probably even seen them on NHL.com. So up in this $5 tier, we got Connor McDavid, Kirill Kaprizov, Nikita Kucherov, Quinn Hughes, Cale Makar and Connor Hellebuck. And kind of when I look at building a $20 roster steal and how I've done this a lot is I almost want to go for my favorite couple of $1 options, in my opinion, and then try and grab one or two at least of those $5 options. So where I'm actually going to start is down in the $1 tier. And obviously we have this split up. Yeah, we have this split up for positionally. So centers in the $1 tier. We got Trevor Zegras on the wing. We got Connor Garland and Warren Fogle. It looks like, is that Travis Sanheim as my D-man there?
That is Travis Sanheim, Brent Burns as your two lefty,
And
righty options.
Spencer Knight, it looks like, as the goaltender. Steele, you got the old man eyes working over here. So what I'm going to say to you here is, after looking at these players, and immediately I kind of would like to go with a guy like Warren Fogle, but when I look at the value that I might get in a dollar D-man with Travis Sanheim, I'm going to take myself a dollar D-man in Travis Sanheim, who last year, let's not forget, was also on the Canadian Four Nations faceoff team. And that doesn't always translate into fantasy success, Steele, but this is a good defenseman. 30 points last year, 170 block shots, 84 hits. He chipped in with also 40 penalty minutes. This is a very serviceable fantasy defenseman, and it doesn't mean that the rest of my team here in terms of a $20 budget succeeds, but I'm going to take me a Travis Sanheim kind of steady as she goes in those category banger leagues, and I'm going to take Travis Sanheim for my first defenseman for $1.
It's definitely not the game plan or the route I expected you to start with, going for a $1 left defenseman. So just so you know, you can no longer pick Quinn Hughes, Jake Sanderson, Miro Heiskanen, and Gustav Forsling. Those are your lefty options.
Thank you.
I got to start with the left wing position. And you know me, I got to go with my favorite player in the game right now, and it's Kirill Kaprizov at the $5 option. You could go Caulfield's at $4, Matthew Nyes at $3, Jonathan Huberdeau at $2, and Warren Fogle, like you said, at $1. But Kirill Kaprizov is a top 5 player in fantasy hockey in the National Hockey League. And when he's fully healthy, and I know he wasn't last year, but when he is, he has 100-point plus potential every single season, which he has been almost on pace for. He's been a point per game player every single season in the National Hockey League, shoots the puck a ton, does very well on the power play, 40, 50 goal potential, 50 assists as well. He brings all the lethal attributes you want in a superstar. So I got to go Kaprizov at the $5 for my first left winger.
I really like it, Steele. I'm also kind of intrigued with what goes on with this Minnesota Wild club overall this season. When I look at what they were able to do offensively last year, it obviously leaves a lot to be desired. I believe, I'm trying to look this up here, the Minnesota Wild finished 25th in the NHL in goals for last year. Obviously, Kaprizov being hurt plays into that. But the same song and dance holds true with this Wild club. Are they going to be able to get enough out of those peripheral pieces in Matt Boldy, Rossi, and others to prop up this offense? Because that's not going to cut it in the Western Conference when you have other studly teams like the one that Cale Makar is on in the Colorado Avalanche that I'm going to take to balance out my D pairing, Mr. Roden. I'm going to splurge on the $5 and take the best defenseman, fantasy or otherwise, in the game to round out my blue line pair. Let's talk about Cale Makar. Let's talk about the rest of this build, your $20 fantasy roster segment. I think we're still going to drop some listener league details. I don't know if I was confused on that or not.
We're dropping it at the end.
Giddy up. I thought we were doing it at the start, but that's all right. I'm a little foggy as well, Steele. Let's also talk about our friends from Game Time, because today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. College football is back, and there is nothing better than the energy of tailgates and being in the stands with your fellow fans. The only downside, trying to get those tickets. Endless queues, hidden fees, and the prices that jump at checkout. That's why both Steele and I use Game Time, the app that gives you the advantage. Back to the fans, the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices. No surprise fees. What you see is what you pay. We just pull up the Game Time app, couple taps, amazing deals, boom, bap, tickets for as low as 25 bones. Take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today.
And thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. We have a very important request. Locked On wants to hear from all of you guys. We've put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcasts even better. This is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't like, and answer questions about our advertising. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. You can also find the link in the show notes. Thank you so much for helping us out, and thank you so much for making it your first listen every single day. We really do appreciate all of you out there who tune in on a regular basis to these episodes. Again, we appreciate you so much for all that. Flip has spent $6 already building his team with a budget of $20. And to me, the most least likely of plays I've seen from him, going both left defenseman and right defenseman to start. He picks Travis Sanheim at the $1 and, of course, Cale Makar at the $5. I went with Kirill Kaprizov worth $5, so I got $15 left in my budget, and I'm looking to fill that center position. And I'm going to go with one of my favorites as well. It's Tage Thompson filling in that center spot. I think this guy, again, has 40 goal potential. I think he has 80-plus point potential. Once again, this Buffalo team, again,
you're high on him this year, aren't you?
I'm very high on Tage Thompson. Yeah. And the Buffalo team is going to struggle because that Atlantic division is very difficult, probably the toughest in the NHL right now.
I would agree with that.
They like to score a lot of goals. And Tage Thompson, again, the Buffalo power play wasn't great last year. If they can even get that back to what we saw 2 seasons ago when they were rocking at 25, 27%, I like Tage Thompson for a bounce back season. I like a lot of their players as well. It's going to be tough for them, like I said, because that division is very difficult, but they still got some sharpshooters. Tage Thompson, pairing him up with Kaprizov, and that leaves me left with $11.
$11 left. And I think this is one of those cases, Steele, and I do like doing this segment because it also shines a light on some of these really good pieces. Sometimes different angles need to be taken in the fantasy game. And I like that we're taking a little bit more of a lighthearted approach to ease you back in here, pal. I am getting very excited for fantasy draft season, and any kind of prep that you can do, especially throwing a little bit of a fun wrinkle into it, is going to add value. I think I did a good job of saving myself some value because I got $14 left to work with here, Steele, and I need 3 players. That's what's right? So I can take
4 players.
I need 4 players. See, that's why the math escapes me. So I still was making sure that I want to go with another cheap player. And I see Thatcher Demko in the goalie slot at $2. That's just too risky for me. But I see Linus Ullmark at the 3. I wrote about Linus Ullmark a little bit in my piece today for Dauber Hockey, talking about the Ottawa Senators. I think he's a borderline top 10 fantasy goaltender. I would put him right in there at around maybe the 10th or 11th mark. I believe he sits there with Matt Larkin's 300 and NHL.com at 9 or 11. I think this is a huge season upcoming for the Ottawa Senators. He's settled in now, and so are they. Hit me with Linus Ullmark as my goaltending option for $3. I think that's really good value. I also am just buying into the Sens this year, Steele. So I wouldn't be ashamed of anyone going out there and doing what we're doing right now and also taking Dylan Cousins for a toonie, because in peripheral leagues, if that's what we're doing here, that guy hit the doors off, and I think he's due for a big season as well. So I like Dylan Cousins for value at the center spot, but I really like Linus Ullmark for $3 to fill out my goaltender. I'm starting back end out here, Steele.
Yeah, this is crazy stuff. I did not expect this from you for our first time doing a build your own team $20 budget. Went with both defensemen and a goaltender. However, I have to agree with you for the value on this tier list. Linus Ullmark is the goaltender to go with. Spencer Knight doesn't even come into the conversation. Thatcher Demko at $2 is still too risky, and especially for how I believe and where I'm projecting this Vancouver team to be at the end of the season. Demko is a no-go again. We've burned that bridge multiple times in the past. I'm with you. Linus Ullmark, a guy who's going to put somewhere between 40 to 47 starts in a season. He's going to get 20 to 27.
Maybe more,
25 plus wins this upcoming year is where I'm projecting him as well. I got to go Linus Ullmark at the $3 for value. And then to fill out my first line here in the right wing position, I'm going to pair up Tage Thompson with his teammate
I
Alex
knew you
Tuch.
were going to do that.
I
I knew
like
you were going
Alex
to do
Tuch
that.
a lot. Those are two players I
Yep.
really like to have on my team.
Sure.
I had them on multiple teams of mine last season, and I just like what he brings to the table as well. He's top line, top power play, shoots the puck a ton. He's put up over 190 plus shots consecutively in the last 3 seasons as well.
Mhm.
He's bringing a physical aspect to his game with 113 hits last year. 73 hits, but now he's blocking a lot. He's putting his body on the line with 113 blocks.
Career high.
Again, if that power play continues to get where I believe they were 2 seasons ago, that just brings his power play value up as well. Not to mention, he's got the dual threat on the penalty kill. He had 6 shorthanded goals last year, 4 game-winning goals as well. I think $3 for Alex Tuch is a huge value for this team. So I've got Tage Thompson $4, Alex Tuch $3, Kaprizov $5, and Linus Ullmark $3. I'll throw it back over to you. Let me do the math real quick and see how much money I have left for my defenseman.
Appreciate that. Yeah, hit me with your budget when you're ready. I got Sanheim, Makar, Ullmark. I take a look at what I think is going to happen for the Montreal Canadiens as well, and I see Cole Caulfield's smiling face looking back at me, and I do want to take him. But if we are looking at a league in which peripherals count a little bit more, and that's usually how we look at things, you're not going to get those with Cole Caulfield, and that's totally okay. That's not even a knock on him because he does bring elite goal scoring ability. I talked to you about it a couple of years ago. I saw him as a 40 goal scorer, and I still hold by that. You get a little bit more love with Adrian Kempe. And as much as you've talked a lot about Alex Tuch, I hold true on how much I like Adrian Kempe. I think the Kings are not being nearly respected as much as they should be. 100 hits for Kempe last year, 237 shots. He also had 36 penalty minutes, going along with 35 goals, still only 2 seasons removed from 41. I'm going to take Adrian Kempe at my first wing spot for $4.
$4 for Adrian Kempe. You still have to fill out your left wing and center spots. You have $7 remaining. I have $5, and I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off right now and fill out these defensive spots. I'm going with John Carlson at $3 in that right defense position.
Predictable.
I think this is still a guy that can bring 50-plus point value. He could, again, with Jacob Chychrun, both guys are going to be quarterbacking the power play. You don't see a lot of teams throw out the 2 defensemen anymore on the man advantage, but I still like what John Carlson brings. He's going to put upwards of 175 plus shots. He's going to put somewhere around 100 blocks, 100 hits as well. I think for $3 brings a ton of value. And with the last position, I got to go with Gustav Forsling at $2. I still think, again, brings a ton of value for what he does with the Florida Panthers. Not going to jump off the page point production wise, but he is a plus minus savant. He is plus 158. He has a plus minus rate of 158 in his 8-year career. He's going to put anywhere from 40 to 50 points up in the National Hockey, or 40 to 45 points, as well as blocks, hits, and all those things. So that fills out perfectly for $20. Tage Thompson, Kirill Kaprizov, Alex Tuch, Gustav Forsling, John Carlson, and Linus Ullmark are on my squad.
I'm going to take my blue line over yours just to nitpick you. But however, I like your squad. I like this segment. Let me wrap it up super quick with my last 2 players. I do need a winger. I need a centerman. I got $13. When this opened up steel and I see Connor McDavid's face there at the top, he is for sure my centerman for $5. That leaves me with how much here? Let me just do the quick math.
$2 left.
$2 left, which I was okay with because I think I need, let me take a look here. Is it Jonathan Huberdeau's face there? See, this is where I just cooked myself because I'm not exactly happy with that selection. But that exactly holds a lesson true in this fantasy game. You need to be prepared. This isn't a draft, but you need to know the players and what you're doing with your squad. And hey, Jonathan Huberdeau had a nice bounce back year last year. I don't know if I can count on that again fantasy-wise. Calgary, similarly, I don't want to invest too much in what's going on in Calgary fantasy-wise other than 2, maybe 3 players. Dustin Wolf, Mackenzie Weegar, Nazem Kadri. After that, there's a couple of interesting names. We know we like Matt Coronado on this show as a sneaky sleeper value pick. There's some good young players, but Jonathan Huberdeau is not exactly a player steal that I would be going after for my team. Learning moments, that's what it's about, my friends, and it's about the Listener League details dropping right after the break.
Yes, we can't wait to get this season on par once again, looking to get things going very, very soon. And we'll break down all the details for both listener leagues coming up next. But first, this episode is also brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all your money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending all in one place. So you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. Once again, thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. Like Flip said, the listener leagues are back in action. What is it, our third or fourth year? I can't even remember. We've had so much
third year.
Is it our third year? I thought it was our fourth.
It's our third year because technically this is our fourth season, but you and I started halfway through our first year.
Yes.
We started in January, 3.5 seasons ago. So technically this is our third. We've been going on 4 years of doing this. And honestly, still, I think the biggest year yet is in store, not only for the listener leagues, for us, for the show, and hopefully for all of the listeners out there who continue to ride with us.
Yeah, we've already had so many people and listeners already reach out to us on Instagram, on YouTube, on X. Shout out to all our listeners, of course, wanting to participate in this listener league once again. We have 2 different leagues, the casual and competitive. Just because we call it the casual, there's nothing casual about it. These are all fierce competitors looking to become the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Listener League champions. 2 different leagues, 16 teams in both leagues. And just to begin with, I believe, Flip, we're going to try and up the buy-in, up the entry fee for all these listeners who want to participate. Last year, it was $50 in the casual, $20 in the casual, $50 in the competitive. But I believe with how much everyone wants to join and how competitive everybody is, we might as well up the fee. And maybe we'll put a poll out there and see what our listeners want to do.
Yeah, I
wouldn't mind pumping it up to maybe $75, $100.
It might be easy for you to say, Steele, since you tend to do a lot better lately than me in terms of finishing in the cash in bets, fantasy results or otherwise. So I respect that totally. And you know what, though? It is about you guys. It is about what you guys want. I hear you. Maybe we could up the competitive slightly and we'll keep the quote unquote casual at what it is. Let's put out some polls. We'll see what it does, because honestly, the amount of interest we have already had, number one, it's humbling. Thank you so much, guys. Means the world to both Steele and I. We might need to squeak out a third league. I don't know if you and I got time for it, Steele, but we'll see how much interest we have. I love it. Let's quickly talk, though, the formats. And then, honestly, we'll be back for a Saturday special, and then we're going hard in the paint. It will be September next week, Steele. We'll be doing mock draft Monday all September long. We'll be breaking down every single division, best bets, rankings, sleeper picks, and we'll have all of the coverage that you guys need.
That's what we do here on the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast. But yes, we'll leave a lot of it up to you guys. We want to, again, like the listener survey earlier in the episode, we want to hear back from you and how we can make this a better experience for all of you joining us this season, as well as just what you want to hear and what you want to watch from this podcast. We're going to do everything we can to make it the best experience for all of you out there while you tune in.
Yep.
For the format, it's really going to stay the same. Again, we like to mix it up here and there, but when we do it on the Locked On Fantasy Listener Leagues, we like the format of head-to-head categorical leagues. That's what we've done from the start. That's what we'll continue to do. Again, it's straight up goals, assists, power play points, penalty minutes, blocks, hits, shots on net, your typical stats for forward and defensemen. And then once again, wins, goals against average, save percentage, and shutouts. It's going to stay head-to-head. There's going to be 16 teams, like I said. We're looking very forward to having you all join us this year. And once again, once we figure out the actual buy-in entry fees, that way we can break down the prizes a little bit more. But I believe last year it was first place took home 50% of the total prize money. Then the second place was around 30%, 35, somewhere around there. And then third place, 20%. The cherry on top of this, of course, is if you finish in a top 3 spot in either the casual or competitive league, you automatically come back the following season. So not just, winning the prize money is obviously big, but if you win, if you finish on the podium, you come back for the next season, automatic entry into the new year.
So about 12 slots open for grabs in both leagues. If there is enough interest, Steele, you and I might have to have a serious conversation about bumping this out to 3 leagues. And don't forget that when you're coming into these leagues with both Steele and I, we'll do regular check-ins throughout the year, giving love to those who are struggling, usually me, and showing support to those who are crushing it. That's usually Steele. I do really appreciate, though, Steele, how much we've started small with the pod. We're continuing to grow. I see all the interest, the rabid interest, and that's important to both you and I. Make sure another key part of becoming entry into this draw, make sure you're following us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, and smash that subscribe button on YouTube. Those 3 things make you eligible for the draw. That's key to helping us get the pod out there to more people. And if you're still listening at this point, 5-star review. Let us know what we need to update and what we're doing well. We appreciate it, you guys. And I hope I can redeem myself a little bit this season, Steele, because I need a better performance.
Don't worry, I'm going to be on you this season, making sure you're setting those lineups in.
Thank you.
And one final note, the last date to send us a message will be September 27th. That will be the final day for you to email us, text us, message us, wanting to participate. We'll do the draw, and then we'll start scheduling those fantasy hockey drafts as well for the following week after that. But once again, the final day will be September 27th. Make sure to message us. Thank you so much for making the Locked On Fantasy Hockey Podcast your first listen every single day. It's another big moment on Locked On, though. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV present College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside 2-time AP Coach of the Year, Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Hawley, and Locked On local experts. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. And once again, we'll see you back here on Saturday for a special episode.
Peace.